Hey folks, welcome back to the session of Azure Web Apps on Node.js and Django. And we are extremely sorry for a quite delay because there was some kind of technical issue with our speaker. But let's keep all those things apart and let's start with the session. Today we have with us our speaker, who is who is a multi-phase personality. She's a Azure lead organizer also, and I think she's going to be the one of the best person to teach you the things, and it's going to be a very interesting session. So I hope you guys are going to make it all interactive, and if you have any kind of queries or anything, you can directly put them in the suggestion box or in the live chat, and our mentor will be more than happy to help you out with the things. So without wasting any more time, let's start with the session. Over to you, ma'am.
Yeah, thank you so much, Varun. So let's start with the session. So basically, welcome everyone. So I would just say that we are talking about web apps, right? So like you might have studied in your college and your school life as well, like how to work on HTML, CSS, and like other stuff. And you might have tried to build some websites and other things on your HTML and have some applied some CSS on that. So for that we use some different services to host our web app. Like for example, you are working on an HTML page and you are just want to host it over some services, like we have some GoDaddy services and all. So like for that you need some external things, right? But by making a web app using Azure, you can do all these stuffs easily by using the Azure, because Azure provides you services to do so very easily by using their GUI basically. So in that you just need to specify your conditions, the requirements you want, and then your web app will be get ready just by using some simple GUI steps that you need to follow to make a web app by using Azure. So basically talking about Azure, so Azure will provide you the services, the cloud services specifically, upon your subscription. Like basically Azure follow pay as you go subscription. So like if you want to make web apps, so you have to buy a particular subscription related to that, and then further you can choose your subscription and like other things, so that upon your requirements, so that you can work on your desired web app. So like I would rather say why we should use Azure Portal only, like what are the things that are necessary for using the Azure Portal, and like why should we use that. So first step for hosting your web app application, to create a web app, so you need something to work on. Like you need some different sources, like if you want to host it, if you want to have domain name, if you want to have some other services. So like you have to go to the third party apps, and you have to go by different subscription, by different services. So for that Azure will provide you everything. So like Azure will provide you everything. Just give me a minute, I will share my screen so that I can show you like what Azure can provide us. Is my screen visible?
Yes, ma'am. Your screen is clearly visible. We are good to go.
Okay, so like here are the things, like some frequently asked questions like you might have, like why should we use Azure Portal. So like here's your answer. Like Azure Portal will provide you the services for hosting the web application, as well as to create a web application by easily without any coding, just using the GUI feature of the Azure Portal. So but for that I have mentioned that you just need to have some Azure subscription only, because you have to work over the web apps, and like Azure subscription will allow you to use these features upon pay as you go services. So you just need to pay for the services that you are using only. So like there are several ways by which you can create a web web app, like you can use the Azure portal, you can use the Azure command line interface or script or IDE or anything, like because Azure allows you the ways by which we can create a web app. Like for example, if you are good at working over Linux or like using a PowerShell, so Azure provide you opportunity, or we could say a chance to work over the Azure command line or Azure PowerShell to make your web app or to do anything. Then secondly, if you are not good at that, then you can use the Azure GUI feature, that is your graphic user interface, from the Azure portal that we have. So all these things are mentioned here, like how we can use this, and I will show this demonstration as well. So like first, like what is your deployment slot? So like basically this is a screenshot of the Azure portal that we have. So here we have deployment slots to an app service web app. And for instance, you can create a staging deployment here, like staging deployment slot, and you can choose the Azure subscription as well mentioned here. Then you have to go with your uh, deployment of your web app. Then this is about the continuous integration and deployment support that Azure provides you. Like it provides a portal that is like out of the box continuous integration. Like it will provide you everything. So you, if you want to deploy your things by using Azure repos, by GitHub, or like Bitbucket or anything, or local Git, so you can do that as here. Like you can see the icons and things that are available here. So like you just need to choose among them and you can do that. So like you have a manual deployment option available also, that is from you by using the FTP. You just need to simply push and then sync your files and other things, so that will get deployed. And by using the Azure repos, GitHub, and like Bitbucket or local Git, you just need your files and other things, and you can do it by just some simple commands that we have over Git, or for deployment over Git and other platforms. Then it will like integrated Visual Studio publishing and FTP publishing. So basically Azure also supports the Visual Studio publishing. Like if you want to directly publish your code or like directly publish your files over Azure, then you just need your Visual Studio code, and you can directly do it by the options available on the left side of the Visual Studio code. And it also allows the FTP publishing, as I have already shown you above, like here, by for doing the manual deployment. Then we have built-in auto scale support and automatic scale out and based on the real world load. So here like you can scale up or scale down your web app that is available. Like if you want to do any changes, or if you want to increase the memory, like if it requires if your app requires some RAM memory or anything, so like you can scale up and scale down the things here. So this feature is also available with the Azure. Now coming to the steps that we have for creating a web app. So basically you just need to follow the simple steps to make your web app. Like as mentioned here, like you just need to run your web app on Azure. Then you have to visit the Azure portal, then create the web app resource. Creating a web app allocates a set of hosting resources and app services, and then you can your web app must be supported by Azure, and it could be in any language, whether it could be in ASP.NET Core or like Node.js, Java, Python, or anything. And like there are the steps like that you have to follow and fill in the tables that we have in the field. Like what we have, like subscription, first of all I have mentioned that we have to choose the correct subscription. Then we want to choose the resource group on which we want to link that web app. Then we have app name, it must be like somewhat unique so that it could accept that. Then we have publish option, like where if you want to publish that app, and then go ahead with the other stuff. It's just for deployment. Then we have runtime stack. Then we have operating system, region, app service plan. So all these things we have to fill accordingly as per our need. Then we'll create the stuff like that we could say a web app over this. So I think We should go ahead. That is app service plan. So like basically app service plan is the set of virtual service resources that run app service apps. So basically like plan on which you are working, like for example for a group of people or anything. So like a single app service plan can host the multiple app services or web apps. So like you just need to select upon your needs that whether you want to host a single app service or like you want multiple app services. So it's according to that only. Now starting with the exercise, so I think we should do this simultaneously. So all the guys who are saying this, let me do this for you and you can do this with me as well. Okay, so like first starting from the first step, like what we have to do is we have to sign into our Azure portal. Then we have to activate the sandbox, like it will accept the one second, it will accept the exercise only when we are activating the sandbox. Okay, so don't worry if you are not doing this exercise, you can directly make your web app. It's just for this exercise. Sandbox is just for this exercise. So like on the Azure portal menu for homepage, click a create resource. Then everything you need to create on resource is resource creator, resource pin appears. Okay, so let me show you this. If my subscription has not expired, then I will definitely show this to you. So here I'm opening the Azure portal. So you just need to open this Azure portal and you have to sign in here like as I have signed in. Then one second, I have signed in with different account, I guess. I don't have subscription with this one. Okay, so I just switch it. Okay, here we go. So our first step is on Azure portal. You go to the home page, and we have to click the create resource, and then finally a create a resource pane appears. So like I just need to go to the create a resource, then create a resource option. I have to choose here. Like it's your home page that is available. I hope everyone can see my screen. Okay, so like create resource, as I have already clicked here. Then what you have to do is create a resource pane appears. Here you can search for the resources you want to create. You can choose anything that you want from Azure. Then in create a resource menu, select web. So we have to select web option here. Like here it is like create web app. So just go for create. Okay, so it will open. Then we have like as we have already selected web app, then we have option for create web app. uh, then we have to fill these details, like it will create or it will create a web app based on these details only, so you have to fill these details very carefully. Okay, so like here is your web app resource pane. Okay, so like first thing is like what is your subscription. So firstly it will ask for the subscription, like what you have, like as your for students, like it's a free version so I'm using it. Then the resource, so any resource you can choose, like I have already created one resource group, so I have mentioned here like here for you. Then any name for the web app, so I would just say as tab community, so like I just com. Okay, Then we have publish option. So like as per our need, we'll do this. Like here what is mentioned, we have to choose publish code. And if you want to work over Python, so we have to choose the Python version appropriately. Like we have Python 3.8, or you can choose any other language by selecting over here. Like if you want to go with the Node.js, Java, or C Sharp, so you can choose accordingly. But like I'm more comfortable with Python, so I'm choosing this. So firstly, we have to go for publish the code, then runtime stack is your Python 3.8 and operating system is Linux. So I'll just do it. Runtime stack is your Python 3.8. So we have to choose the language in which we want this app. Okay, so like Python 3.8, then Linux is our operating system according to this. Then we have region is your central US and accept default and F1s. Then we have region, so like it's not asking for the reason. Yeah, here it is. So we have to give the region here, like US central. So where it is, have to search. It's not there. We can select any other region. So one thing, we'll select East Asia. All right. So then we have all the basic things, like it will create a Linux plan for us. Then SQN size is basic B1, and we have to change this to F1 according to this exercise. So we'll just change it from here. Like we'll choose F1. F1 is just a free version, so it will allow us for F1 only. So just a second, it's loading. Yeah, here it is F1. Okay, so I have to choose this one. Then we have to select the apply option from here. Alright, all settings are done. I think we should click apply only. Yeah, select review and create and go to the review pane and select create. All right, so here like I have filled all the fields here according to that exercise. First is your subscription, then resource group. You can create your own resource group as well. Then we have name of our web app, that is I have mentioned like sdev.com. And then further I've published like a code I want to publish. Then we have runtime stack, that is your Python 3.8. I'm using this language only. Then operating system is Linux as mentioned in the exercise, so I'm just going with that only. Then we have East Asia. Okay, it's asking, it's not having anything. Okay, I'll choose Australia Central if it take. It's not taking, not finding your app service plan. It's not finding my app service plan here. Okay, Central US is here. Okay, I think it will work over it. Like I'm not having that subscription, so I guess it's showing me this error. Okay, so I think we are done with every setting. Um, why it's not taking? Um, South India. It's not taking anything. Okay, we'll try with this only Central US. Just let me just click over here. Review and create. It will take or not. So after filling all the details in the fields, you just need to create a, you just need to click the create and review option available there. Then we have like it, you can do these settings according to your, like if that the needs that you want, according to that, and just click the create option here. Like we are done with the steps. So basically your deployment is completed after all these steps, and just whenever your deployment is completed, you just need to go to resource. The portal shows that app service overview pane for web app. So like you will get to see the web app pane available there. Then we have to preview your web app default content. Select the URL at the top right, and you can see your web app. All right. So like deployment is in progress. As you can see here, it will take quite 2-3 minutes only. Like, so let's wait for this. I hope those are doing with me, they can get it. Okay, so meanwhile this deployment is working, let me show you the settings again, those who are doing with me. So here, like you can choose first is your like subscription, then resource group. You just need to name your web app according to your choice. Then you can publish the code. Then runtime stack you can choose as per your choice. Like again, you have ASP.NET, you have Python, you have Node.js. So you can choose accordingly. Then operating system you can choose again accordingly, and then region central US or anything, like it's upon you. Then we have Linux plan, so Linux plan is your accept default one, that as I've already done. Then SQN size, so I will take the basic one. Okay, yeah, here you can see that my deployment is complete. Now I'm done with my web app, and I just need to go to this option, that is your go to resource. All right, so it will open me the as devcom web app pane, so that I could work over it. Right. So my web app is already deployed, and you can see all the things here. Like, all right, now here's the URL for my web app. So I can copy from here or open in a new tab, or I can just simply click over it to open my web app, and now it will open my web app. That is as devcom for me. It will take 2 minutes only. Okay, so like here's a one screenshot, like those who are doing. So you can see from here, like you can choose your subscription, and then you can choose any name, then publish or runtime stack, operating system, and like that. Then you just need to create a review and create button over there. Then just need to create click the create button. Then your web app will preview to you, like then you have to go to resource. Then finally you have to click over the link, that URL. Okay, so like here it is. As you can see that this is my web app. So like as you can see the link name as devcom, like as I've used for my web app name. Then Azure websites.net, so like it's completely hosted. And if I can share this with everyone, then they can see my website as well. Like I'm just sharing, uh, I'll share it in the resources in the chat box, like you can see. Yeah, it will get open. So here's my web app. So like this, you can build your own web app by using any language. So I have used the Python here, so it will show me that built with Python. And if you're using any other language, like we have Node.js, we have ASP.NET, we have C Sharp, so you can work with that as well. So here, like it's already created. So then next we have, so like this was a basic exercise, like basic thing, like how could you create your web app. Now if you want to create like web application code, like if you want to prepare that, then what we have to do, like bootstrap a web application. Like if you are using the command line interface, or if you are using a like PowerShell, then you can use this things. Like you can just simply enter these commands, copy and paste that commands over the PowerShell, and your commands will be executed accordingly. So next we have write code to implement a web application. So this is for implementing the web application. So like here I want a sandbox, but currently my sandbox is not active. So I will not able to show you this, but I will tell you that what to do with this. So like if you want to create a new web project, right? So first you have to do is you have to run this Flask code. Like if you want to install the Flask, so you just need to copy this and paste this command over the PowerShell, or we could say Cloud Shell. Then we have other commands, that is to create the directory, like it will make a directory best bike app, and like you just cd command is just to go into the command directory best bike app. Then we have other step, that is to create a new file for your web app. So it will like code application.py, so it will create a new file application.python for me, so that I would work over it. Like it will create a python file so that I will work over editor to work write a code in it. Then we have python code that we will copy paste in the file that we have just created, that is your application.py. So we'll just copy paste this file over it. Then we have okay, so then we have to exit this editor, like we are already in editor because we are copy pasting this code in our file. So we are, if we want to come back, so we have just need to type two buttons, that is your control plus s and control plus q. Control plus s is for your saving the file and control plus q is for quitting the editor. Then we have these are the commands that you use for the mac os, and it was a command for windows and linux operating systems. Then to deploy your application to Azure, you just need to copy paste this command like pip freeze and like greater than requirements.txt. So you just need to copy paste this command, and like it will deploy that web app for you. Then we have optionally test your web app. If you want to test your web app that you have just created, so you just need to go with the application browser tab, or like other command shell we could say. Okay, so like from a primary command cell session, so you just need to put this command over here, because here you are checking your web app that you have just created above, like by using the above commands. So you are just testing your web app. So you have to copy paste these commands to the new PowerShell that you have just opened. Then you have to like put this command as well. Then you need to do this. You should see the following HTML output. Like whenever you will run this command, then you will get this HTML output. That means your web app is working. All right, then you have to press the control C to quit your web app. So that was the step, like how would you make your web app by using the command line interface, or we could say PowerShell. So like you just need to follow these simple steps to create your web app. Like it's just for basic one, but you want to have more things in your web app. If you want to add some features, you want to add images, if you want to add some other things, then you can go with the like some adding some more resources, where if you are adding some more files over it, and it will work for you. Okay, now coming to the deploy code to app services. So like it has a automated deployment available, like as I've already seen, and you have already seen that my web app is already deployed here by using this Azure services. So like these are the things that are options available. Other than that, so like Azure supports some automated deployment directly from the several resources. So there are following available options like which you can use specifically. Like we can use Azure DevOps option, we have GitHub option, we have Bitbucket option, we have OneDrive, we have Dropbox. So like by using all these services or like all these platforms, we can deploy our web app easily. Like GitHub is a good option, and like most of the students and other teachers or like everyone use the GitHub only. So like GitHub is also available here, because GitHub is also a service which is provided by Microsoft only. So like it's just linked from it. And then if you want to go with the manual deployment, like by using the FTS or by directly from the Visual Studio Code, so like these are the options that are with you. Like we have Visual Studio Code and FTP also, but we have some more options. Like we have Git, like over our PC or our devices. So we just have Git. Then we have Azure Web App Up. then we have zip deploy, then we have war deploy, and we have Visual Studio and FTP. And among these, Visual Studio is very common. Again, Git is also very common. Like you just need to deploy your files, you just need to push and sync your files from your devices to the platforms and which are linked for the deployment, and you just need to write some command line interface. Like you just need to use command line interface, and you just need to write some commands over it so that it will work, and it will push and sync all the files that you are deploying, that you want to deploy. All right, then coming to the next exercise, that is your deploy your code to app services. So basically, again, it requires a sandbox, but my sandbox is not available currently because I have already used some. So I will just tell you the steps here only. So like deploy with Azure Web App Up. So like if you are using the Azure Web App Up option, that as I mentioned here in the on premises for your manual deployment, so you can use this Azure Web App Up. So here what we have to do is you just need to gather some information or other thing like files that you want to deploy or push. Then you just need to copy paste this command. Then you have to run this Azure Web App Up application, or we could say option, with appropriate values. Like for example, we were having a best bike app directory earlier that we have seen earlier. Then we just need to go into that directory by using the cd command. So then we have best bike app, and then we have to run this command over it. So your deployment will take a couple of minutes only, and during this time you will see the status of your output, and you will see like this, the output will be displayed like this. So like once the program is loaded, you will see a message, and that means your app is being deployed successfully. So like this, as you can see that these are the very few steps that in by which you can deploy your web app very easily. Like you just need to copy paste just two commands, and your web app is get deployed very easily. So that's all about the things that we are work on the web app, like how to create a web app, how to deploy the web app. So that was the basic one, that you just need to follow some quick steps, or we could say some GUI versions, so that you can easily deploy and create your web app, and by just using the GUI interface of the Azure developer, Azure portal. And then we have command line interface, we have PowerShell, we have command line interface, command shell, cloud shell. So over that you just need to copy paste the commands or write some commands to make your web app. Okay, so now coming towards the Azure 204. So like it's a like you can use it for exam Azure 204. Like it's basically exam for the web app services. Like whenever you are working over web app, and if you think that you are good at web apps making and using the Azure for the web app services, so like you just need to give this exam. Like it's a basic one, and it will cover all your fundamentals over the Azure, and it will cover all the things that you are learned during your web app making, or like deploying it using the Azure. So here, like you can see, here's a complete module over it. So these are the things that you need, that these are the modules that you need to learn to complete this exam, and to get the passing score, and even score much better. So like here you have to go with this first module, that is your explore Azure App Services. So here what you have to do is you have to like, let me show you how to explore the Azure App Services that are available on the portal of the Azure. So it will give a brief of everything, and much you can explore by using the Azure portal only. Like as I have already shown you that this is the Azure portal with us. So like you can use this for all the things, for exploring everything that you have. All right, so it's opening. Like here we have everything with Azure. Like you can see, like this is a portal, and here you can see that we can do anything with the Azure. So there are several resources that are available. So if you want to create any resource, so we have anything like function app, SQL database, web app, or anything if you want to work over the Azure. So Azure provides you flexibility to work over several services. So you can see here. Oh, why it's not opening? I think I'm not having a stable connection, so I guess that's why. So meanwhile you can, yeah, it's open. So like here you can see that examine Azure App Services. So like here it will give a brief overview of all the Azure App Services that is available on the Azure portal or that you can use for your web apps. So like that, here you can explore that we have built-in auto scale support, like as I've already mentioned that it will allow you the option for scale up and scale down, if like if you want to work over your memory, if you want to change anything, then it will provide the auto scale support to you as well. Then we have continuous integration and deployment support. So basically it will provide you a portal so that out of the box continuous integration and deployment, like you have different platforms where you can deploy your web app. Like I have discussed, like we have Azure DevOps, we have GitHub, we have Bitbucket, we have FTP, and we have for manual deployment we have our Visual Studio Code, we have our Git. So like there are the things we can use to make our web app. Then we have deployment slots, so I've already discussed it. Then we have our app service on Linux. So like as I have shown you that it will give you flexibility over the platform, like which platform you want to use. Like we have Linux, we have Mac OS, we have Windows, so you can choose anything from the options available on the Azure portal. So these are the some limitations that you have for the Azure services as well, but we can see that these limitations are very less in comparison to the advantages over using the Azure, because Azure will provide you everything so that you can deploy your web app, you can create your web app, and you can do anything with your web app. Like you can do as per your needs, you can make your web app according to your choice. So like Azure advantages are more than its limitation. Then we have examine the Azure App Service plans. So we have service plans like according to the region we have. So like basic one is like West US, East US. So it's support according to you, like which Azure service plan you are using and which location you are working over. Then we have pricing tier. So like as I have already mentioned that it will completely focused on your subscription and the region and the service plan that you have with your Azure subscription. Then how does my app run and scale? So like your basically it's the backend services that are worked with Azure, so that your web app is working and your web app is working fine, and you just get a URL so that you can share it with the public, and so that they can see your web app and they can use your web app as well. So like here all the things are maintained by the Azure itself. Like there are several backend services, like as already mentioned here, like your app will run on the VM instances which is configured with the app service plan. Then we have CPU which minutes that, so that it's a backend services that work behind this Azure. Then we have what if my app needs some more capabilities or features. So like definitely Azure will allow you to add the features or like remove the features. It's according to you, it's completely on your choice, like what the things you want in your web app and what you don't want, so you can modify it accordingly. Then we have deploy to app service. So deploy to app service is your automated deployment. So like we have two types of deployment that we have seen. Like we can use the deployment by just clicking on the platform we want to deploy. Like we have Azure DevOps, we have GitHub, we have Bitbucket. So like we can choose from these options so to deploy our web app, or either we can work over the manual deployment. Like for example, if you're working on premises and we are not connected with GitHub or anything, and if your code is on Visual Studio and you are doing your coding there, your files are there at Visual Studio Code, and you just want to deploy that files, So what you can do is you can use the command line interface and you can choose your Visual Studio Code and you can sync, push the files there and then sync it to deploy. Okay, so like that we have other options also, like you can use the command line interface, you can use the deploy, you can use the FTP, you can use the Git. So like these are the things that are available that you can use for the manual deployment as well. Then we have deployment slots. So like as I have already discussed, like it's upon the service plan or service plan tier that you have already have with your subscription. So it's completely on basis of that, like as what platform you are using and on which you want your app to be deployed. Now next, coming towards the uh, authentication and authorization in app services. Now for example, you want some authorization and authentication, like for example you're working over a e-commerce web app, so you just want a login portal, you want a authentication thing in your web app so that everyone can go and go to their login, they can log in by their credentials only, so like by their using their only credentials. So it's just for the security purpose, so it will also allow you authentication. So like Azure only provides you with the authentication part, so there is a built-in authentication available with the Azure facilities. So like again it's upon your subscription and service plan that allows you for the security. So like you can get the multiple integrated login providers, like here we have Azure AD, we have Facebook, we have Google, we have Twitter. Like somewhere, as you have also seen that in some websites there is option like login with your Google account, login with your Facebook account. So like that it will provide you a multiple integration so that you can log in directly to your web app, or like you can directly log in to buy anything, like for example any customer is using your web app, so like that. Then we have identity providers. So like there are different identity providers, like as I have already mentioned that it is integrated with the multiple login providers. So they are from like Microsoft, Facebook, Google, Twitter. So you just need to sign in the endpoints, like you have to use this to just get your login, just get login and signed up. So basically, it's the backend service again, like how this authentication is working with the Azure, how this integration is happening. So if you want to go in the deep dive, so you just need to read these things and you just need to learn the basic working of the authentication flow and other things that are going on the backend, so that you will know that how this is working, like how Azure is providing authentication services by integration with the Google or like Facebook or like that. So these are the things that you need to do or study. And this is the authorization behavior, like how it will allow the unauthenticated request, like how it will deal with that. So like for example, if someone has entered some like for example someone is trying the OTP bypass, like any hacker or someone, like or if someone is doing anything, like it's entering the multiple passwords or that. So like it will deal like this, like it will provide you full authentication, you can trust them. And like because they are using the features from the Google, Facebook and other things, so like it will provide you a integrated security as well. So like it's the thing, like if you want to go deep dive again and you want to see that how your bad requests are treated at Azure, so you can just read it. Then we have service networking features with us. So basically these are the services, like for the networking feature, like how your services are being treated at HTTP server, at TCP server. So like different protocols are also there. So like how the things are happening, how your website is visible to everyone, how your web app is how you are using your web app. So like that, all the services, all the domain name, all the like all the services, all the protocols, so how they are followed and maintained. So all the networking part is also explained at Azure. Like Azure is only providing you everything, so it will tell how this is working. So like here, if you want to read this, that how the networking things are taking place, so that you are reaching your web app and you are getting your desired services. so you just need to read that. So like there, here we have default networking behavior, like how the IPs are treated. We have our IP address for on web app, so like how it is treated, how we can getting our services. So like all these things are described here, like if you want to go and read about the networking features. Then we have next, like create a static ML web app by using the Azure Cloud Shell. So like as I have already shown you that how we can create a web app by using the Azure portal. So like these are the steps that we can use to create a HTML web app or simple any web app by using your Azure Cloud Shell. So like here you just need, what you have to do is you just need to like I'm not having a correct subscription for that, so like I will not be able to do so. But yeah, I will tell you here, like what you have to do is first you have to log into your Azure, then you have to download the sample app. So like here you can see that this is the icon for the command shell, or we could say PowerShell. Then you have to choose the option, like you want a bash environment. So like there are many environment available, so like you have to choose the bash, because here you will be allowed to work over this shell scripting. So it's a easy language and you can easily work over it. So like you just need to choose the bash one. Then in the cloud shell you just need to create a directory and then navigate to it. So like here it's creating a directory name HTML app. So here this is a command mkdir here, HTML app. Then again, if you want to go inside this HTML app directory, then you have to use this command cd HTML app. Then you have to run the following git command to clone the sample app repository to your HTML directory. Like for example, you're having a sample app, so you just want to you want to make your HTML app, so you just want to clone that sample app repository. For that, here's a command that you need to use to clone that sample app to your HTML app directory. Then we have create a web app, like how to create a web app. So firstly you have to make a directory like cd HTML docs hello world. Then you have to use this as your web app up, like as I've already shown you earlier. So like you can use anything, like I'm using this service as for my manual deployment and for my like manual making of the web app, so I can use this. Or you can use the git, or you can use your Visual Studio Code as well. Then you have to write these things, you have to just copy paste this. Then we have update and redeploy the app. If you want to redeploy your app, then you have to just copy paste this command and execute this command, and your app will be redeployed and updated. Then you have to create the resources, like if you don't want the resources anymore and if you want to delete it, then you have to use this command to create your resources or clean up your resources. So that was all about the basic thing or basic idea, like how the Azure App Services work on. Next, we have other modules as well. So you can read them as well, or you can study them, because it will help you for clearing your exam. That is your AZ 207, right? 204, sorry. So these module is for like configuring the web app setting. Like if you want to change the setting of your web app, and if you want to like make your web app according to your needs, according to your choice, then you want some settings in your web app, you want to do some like you want to add something, you want to delete something, if you want to modify something. So for that you have some web app settings over which you can work. Like it will include your configure application setting, it will include your general settings like you want to do. Then it will include your path mappings, like on which your files are available, from where you want to push your files, like that. Then we have enable diagnostic logging. Then you have configure security certificates. Then you have manage app features. This configure security certificate are for those, like those are having a app, or like they have a copyright for that, like that app was built for the first time or like that. So that they, for that purpose, they need security certificates as well. Then we have manage app features, like how to manage your app, like that only. So these are all about the settings that you can do to change your web app, to make your web app accordingly. So you can read them as well. Then next we have scale apps in Azure App Services. Like it's for scaling. Like if you want to scaling out, scaling in. So for that we have this module. So here what you will study, like you will study the auto scale factors that are already available and that are provided by the Azure. So you just need to examine that. Then we have identify the auto scale factors. So then we have auto scale in our app services. So like this module will explain everything, like how the auto scaling is being done, auto scaling is out or in, and how it is provided by the Azure services, and like exploring the auto scale as a best practice or not. So it will tell you about that only. Then we have our one more module. Right. So here you have explore Azure App Services deployment slots. So we have different deployment slots available, or which you can use to deploy your web app. So like you have exploring the staging environment, like environment in which you want to deploy, or like as I have used Cloud Shell, then I have used Bash language. So Bash was the environment that I was using for my web app. Then you have like slot swapping as well. Like you want to if you are in the midway of your deployment, if you want to swap your slot, and if you want to deploy it over some other platform or application, then you can also do it. Then you have some swap deployment slots available. Then we have route traffic in app services. So like it will tell you that how this deployment is working, and like how could you use different platforms to deploy your web app. So that's all about the services and everything that Azure provides for the web apps. So basically, if you want to clear this exam, you just need to complete these modules, and like the after completing these modules, you will definitely crack this AZ204 exam, and it's mainly focused on web apps. So you'll also get a quite a clear knowledge regarding the web apps, and you can create your own web app as well. So that's all about the web apps. So I think over to you, Varun.
Yeah, thank you very much, ma'am, for coming here and delivering such a nice session. And guys, if you have any kind of queries, you all are free to please post the queries in the live chat, and our mentor will be more than happy to help you out with the queries. If you have any query, please feel free to ask. Till then, our mentor is here, and give me a minute. I am sharing the Discord link. So you all must be able to see the Discord link of Azure Developer Community in the live chat as well as on your screens. So I'll highly recommend you guys to please join the Discord server for any of the community support or any of the collaborations. And plus one, someone asked in the live chat, are we going to have a quiz today? So the answer is I don't think so that we are going to have a quiz today, but surely we are going to conduct a quiz. We conduct a quiz every Friday, and I'll tell you in the upcoming sessions that are we going to have a quiz specially for this boot camp and for all you guys. So till then, if you have any kind of queries, you can please put them in the comment section. And after this session, if you have any kind of queries, you can please feel free to ask them in the Discord. Either Jayashree ma'am or any other experienced mentor will surely help you out with the things, and it's for sure that your query will be resolved very soon. So, is there any queries? And I have some of the resources which have been shared by ma'am. So you can please refer to these. I'm sharing them in the live chat. I have shared. You can please refer to these resources. I think these are the official documentation of Microsoft. These are very beautifully designed documentations which will take you through each and everything. And you guys can go and just start with the things on hands-on practices as well to gain some confidence and start with the things. So I don't think there are any more doubts from the audience. So let's wrap up with the session. So a huge shout out to our speaker for coming here and delivering the talk. Thank you very much, Jayashree ma'am. Looking forward to see you in another boot camps and things. And
Yeah,
thank you
thank
Yeah,
everyone.
you.
I would like to say something. So
Yeah,
first of all, Jayshree, thank you so much. We had to request Jayshree to come at the last moment because the previous speaker was supposed to come. His laptop crashed, and that's the reason for the delay also. And it is so valuable that whatever she's taught us today. And I really appreciate and admire your professionalism and your commitment to work. Thank you so much, Jayashree. I owe you a big one. Thank you.
Thank you, Namika. Thank you, Varun, for having me. I hope you got something from this session.
Yeah, surely the audience must have benefited and they must have learned really very nice stuff today. So I don't think there are any more doubts. So guys, if you have any, you can please post them in the Discord or you can ask with the mentor directly on his LinkedIn as well. So whenever she'll be free, she'll answer all your queries. So till then, thank you, ma'am. Thank you everyone for being so patient and attending our day one. See you tomorrow with another experienced professional speaker and another learning. Thank you everyone. Goodbye. Stay safe and happy learning.